Howdy, folks. It is Sako and the Moon, and we are reviewing the movie Hatchet, a la 2006. And we have the fabulous and wonderful Nikki Knight, psychic and event planner and a whole bunch of other things.
It's weird because this is backwards. I was trying this out the last time Nikki was here on Friday, and it was like I had to cross over the wrong way, but now it actually makes sense. Like I don't know what's different, why it's working. I don't know. It's weird.
Okay.
Nikki's right here.
Oh, because I have Nikki over here.
That's opposite to me.
Oh,
like the presentation on the screen.
I'm
Nikki's
everywhere.
right. See, that's the power. That's her psychic power. She is everywhere. She's omnipresent.
It is mirroring. That's true.
Which is weird because like on my side, like last Friday it was, and today it's not. It's strange. That's why I can never tell what side of my hat my logo is on, because it's different every time I look at it.
Yeah.
None of this has anything to do with the movie we're watching today. We watched.
Yeah. So
I wish this was like a clever lead-in, like a clever segue to our movie. It's not.
Say hi, Nikki, when you're done drinking.
Hey, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon or good night, wherever you are. I'm here to review one of my favorite movies, Hatchet by Adam Green, also the maker of all the other Hatchet, 2, 3, and Victor Crowley. Grace, the movie about the zombie baby, and Frozen. He also has a TV show called Holliston. You should check out on Shudder.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
We're only talking about the first Hatchet, which, boy, okay, we're gonna discuss this movie.
We are.
We are.
Yeah. All right. So, if you are new to our streams, then hello and welcome. Come, pull up a warm drink and comfy
non-alcoholic
seat.
YouTube. We're not drinking alcohol. YouTube. Nah, YouTube. Don't you do that to us. We're not drinking alcohol. This is Dr. Pepper.
No, Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
No
sponsor. Not sponsored. But
we're not drinking alcohol. Don't you put that restriction on us. Don't you do it, YouTube. And we know you like to be.
I just like fancy glasses.
That's right. We got a bonus guest.
That's my dad.
Has your dad seen Hatchet?
I think he watched it a little bit with me, but he didn't watch the whole thing. He's not that much into horror movies. I can't sleep if I don't at least watch one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I watched a different movie the other night in bed, and my husband walked in when I had 12 minutes left, which means the apex of the movie was happening. And I'm like, but I have 12 minutes left. And he's like, you got 12 minutes. Go ahead and finish it. So I finish it. I throw my iPad to the side and I snuggle up to my husband. And he's like, how can you sleep after watching something like that? And
disturbingly easy.
Disturbingly easily.
It's really easy to do that.
Okay, so we have a method, 4-star method. We have 4 categories to go with those stars. We got the theme, we got the production, we got the writing, and we got the characterization. And within those categories, we have like 3 prompts that kind of get us really talking about the category, and then we decide whether or not it gets a star.
I'm going to put this method. You know what I should do? I should put this method on the Sako and the Moon page that I have on my website. So if you happen to find Sako and the Moon, you have to find it on DwanAlhern.com. I will put this thing on there so you can see it, gauge it for yourself.
Yeah,
We'll do
that
that. We'll
sounds
do that.
great. Okay, so first off, we got the theme. So within the theme, we have the message, which is basically no trespassing.
Don't take your ass in the bloody swamp. Your ass
And
ain't got
don't
no
tease the
business.
freak. Don't tease the weirdo.
Basically, be a nice person. Like, don't be an asshole to somebody who's disfigured or different.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
The
If it's partying or hanging out in the swamp late at night, go partying. Like, don't.
don't go into the swamp at night.
Don't go
That's
if you. I have so much to say about this movie. Because again, okay, so here's the thing. Let me share this with the peoples real quick. There are a lot of quote unquote classic horror movies that I have not seen. You know, we were talking to the channel's good friend Dr. AC from Horror 101 with Dr. AC. Great channel. Follow that after watching this. And and I found out there's a lot of movies that I just haven't seen. So I'm watching a lot of these for the first time. Just kind of cuz. You know, I knew the movie Hatchet was there, and I just never bothered to actually push play. You know what I mean? I just never actually sat down to watch it. And boy howdy. This is I have thoughts and feelings. They're gonna vary throughout. So my star scoring is gonna be, you guys are gonna have to convince me throughout the course of this movie.
I think I might need some convincing too. So we'll,
because the overall theme is don't take your black ass in the swamp.
Yeah.
I mean, the Marcus character, I felt that Marcus character so strong because he was just like, I don't know why we doing this. This is dumb. But it always has that. There's always that one character in your writing that kind of reflects the reader. Marcus was it. It's just like, ooh, don't, no, nothing good was set up to happen in this whole thing. There were so many mistakes. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Horror begins when mistakes are made. There were so many mistakes made. Might be a t-shirt. Might be a t-shirt.
Might be a t-shirt. Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were grossly made.
The tone was dangerous.
It was comical.
And comical.
This was,
even though it didn't mean to, it was taking itself awfully seriously.
It was not even close. This is not a horror comedy. Not a horror comedy, but it is comedic horror. And those are two very different things. One is slapstick, right? When you have like your monsters that are like grabbing each other by the feet and you know, jangling the lunch money out of their pockets. That's a horror comedy. This is comedic horror where a lot of the tension is cut by some character doing a silly thing or saying a funny line. So this was comedic horror. Now, this is important, and this is why I keep talking about it. This is important because to set up the movie in the first, I'll say the first few minutes after the opening, after you get your opening kill out of the way, once you get into your main story, the beginning of your main story is going to set the tone, which is why tone is such an important thing on our list. In fact, if you watch earlier episodes of us doing movie reviews, you know that this category used to be last. We used to be talking about this last. Sako actually moved it up, and it's very important that she did, because setting the tone in the beginning of your work allows us to judge your work the way you intend to, right? If you want to take this as a deep, dark, serious horror, you're going to be disappointed. If you're walking in like a comedic horror, or even treating it like a horror comedy, it's a wholly different vibe. Now you're riding with it. And understanding that tone as it's set in the beginning, as it was with all the boobs and the use of the word boobs, a lot of the use of the word boobs in the first 5 minutes of like the main story. They said boobs a lot. I should have went back and counted. I didn't. Maybe I will, and I'll tell Bluesky how many times he said boobs in the first opening of the movie. There's a lot of flashing. So just know that when you're watching this with your partners, it's a lot of boobs. So let's be aware. But it sets the tone, and that's the way this movie is set up, and I follow it in that vein, which critiqued and judged how I watched the entire movie. Yeah, that was a lot.
That was a lot.
That was a lot. I'll shut up.
No, you don't gotta shut up. We love what you have to say. What are you talking about?
I hope so. I'm half.
All right. So the backstory. When a group of tourists in a New Orleans haunted swamp tour find themselves stranded in the wilderness, their evening of fun and spooks turns into a horrific nightmare.
Yes.
And that right there, that enthusiasm, that's all this movie gets. No, let me ask our wonderful guest, because we really haven't heard a lot from Nikki, especially because I don't shut up. I love movies, so that's kind of thing. So Nikki, let me ask you a couple questions. How did you feel about Hatchet? Because you said it's one of your favorite movies, right?
Yeah.
How did you feel about Hatchet when you first watched it?
When I first watched it, I was like, man, this is a very funny, kind of really gross movie, and I was like very, very happy with Kane Hodder being like Victor Crowley and Robert Englund being in the movie, because they were supposed to do Freddy versus Jason. They never did with them two together. They just did Fear Clinic and Wishmasters. Those are only two things that they've been together without being some type of budgeting thing going on where they can't keep two of them together. So I enjoyed seeing that.
So how has that changed at all in the more times that you've watched it? Has your opinion of it changed? Do you is it like an endearing watch for you? Does it seem spookier? Do you critique it any differently now that you've seen it more than the one time?
Sorry, my dad's phone's going off.
He's the fourth guest of the show. It's okay.
I feel like I like it just the same. It has this it makes fun of the old Jason movies. It's basically Jason in reverse. It's a dad and a son instead of a mother and a son, and it kind of has all the things that we love about the old horror movies, the practical effects and the base storyline that are reminiscent of old school horror movies, and that's what I liked about it.
It does have an intentional throwback to the 80s, and we're going to talk about all of those effects when we start going into makeup, because that's where I think honestly most of this conversation needs to be, is in this next category about the makeup and the art direction, because boy, that is that's going to be it. I'm going to tell you that right now, for production there's going to be a star on my part, because we don't have to skip to that, but just know ahead of time, spoiler alert, for production I'm going to give it a star, and you're going to know exactly why. If you've seen it, there's no question already. If you've seen clips of it, there's no question about it. And as Nikki has started to point out, but we're going to get in all that here in just a minute. What is the overall final lesson? If you're going to since this is one of your favorite movies, you get somebody to watch this movie for the first time, what is the message? What do you want them to take from it as it being one of your favorite movies?
Just a fun time. It's not I can't really take it so seriously. Maybe take away the stay away from the swamp thing.
That's the lesson I got out of it.
But also it also addresses how like people deal with relationships and like how they need to like escape, and like sometimes how escapism leads to danger. Because the main character, the main guy, he's going through a breakup, and like he goes on this boys trip to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, and he's the only one not having any fun.
Yeah, we're gonna get into all that with the writing and such, because there's a lot in the storyline. So we're gonna hold on to that point for the writing section. Sako, is there anything you wanted to throw in else before we throw a vote on theme? Because I kind of want to get to art direction. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to get to production on this one.
I do have a little bit of trivia,
as you always do.
As I often do. So Adam Green created a no CGI rule for post-production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So everything is practical.
Boy, is it. Like I said, we're gonna get there in a second. You see, you're gonna hear this conversation in about 5-10 minutes. You're gonna see why I want to get there. There's a lot to talk about there.
Apparently, if you watch the first 3 Hatchet movies in a row without the opening and ending credits, it would be one uninterrupted storyline revolving around a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Good to know.
It was the last production to shoot in Louisiana before Katrina hit.
Mm-hmm. And it features Robert Englund, Kane Hodder, and Tony Todd. Let's not forget Tony Todd is in this movie.
Yeah, Tony Todd.
That was my next one.
That is Freddy, Jason, and Candyman in one movie. It's a damn shame we couldn't get those 3 characters in one movie.
Yeah.
I don't even know how Candyman would destroy them both. I don't know how exactly, but I feel like Candyman would win that battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The horribly deformed young Victor Crowley is actually played by a beautiful young actress named Relea Vanderbilt.
Very pretty.
So when makeup effects artist John Carl Buechler needed a model to test the latex prosthetic on, Relea was the volunteer. Because the makeup effects had already been molded to her face for the test shots, she played the role in the film.
Makes sense. Also, it's important to note that Kane Hodder not only played Victor Crowley, the adult, but played his father without makeup. He played the dad. So
yeah.
He played the father and the son as adults, except for when he was in the scene with himself. He couldn't play himself with himself.
Yeah. I feel like as the dad, he showed a lot of deep emotion and able to like really like portray like the loss and everything. Yeah, he got
a chance to act. I mean, like that's the thing. You don't get to see Kane Hodder like really act like that because he's behind the mask, because he's typically Jason.
I have not thought about that.
Me either.
Me either.
So, do you got more? Are you ready for a vote?
I think I'm ready for the vote. I'm gonna have to say, for the sake of the throwback, I would be willing to give it a star.
Considering that, like I said earlier in my long rant, it sets a tone in the beginning, and if you ride that wave through the movie, you're good, and it rides the tone that it sets. It starts off as comedic horror, it ends as comedic horror, it stays comedic horror through and through. So the tone is consistent. I'm cool with giving it a star on this.
Okay. Me too.
Nikki, all right. So we got 1 star for the theme, and now we get to move on to production, which includes art direction, cinematography, and what we're going to talk about the most, makeup. Good God, makeup and effects. Oh Lord.
Sorry.
Let's do this. Let's specifically talk about cinematography.
Okay.
Because I know we're not going to say a whole lot about cinematography and not a whole lot about art
we're
direction.
really not.
Actually, I can probably speak with both of you and skip this if you don't mind. Cinematography was fine, but it was bloody dark. It was a very dark movie. Yes, it happens at night in the swamps, away from street lights and house lights and city lights. So it's supposed to be dark, but I will give it kudos the fact that it was dark, but not so
well lit.
Well lit for a dark movie. It's so dark that it's like really dark, but not so dark that you can't tell characters apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you look at what their outfits were wearing, the outfits were distinct enough that you could tell them apart, even when it was kind of shady and kind of dim. So I have no problem, particularly with the cinematography. I think it was good.
I mean, it's basically Hollywood level cinematography.
Yeah, it's
right?
Good. Not great, not exceptional. Didn't suck.
It didn't suck.
It's standard.
It's good.
It's the standard what the standard should be. Art direction. Again, it's dark. There's not a whole lot. It was downtown Louisiana, and it was dark. The rest of the movie it was dark.
Art direction.
That's what I'm saying. Like
it's the same. It's the same kind of situation where I felt like it was trying to take itself too seriously for what it was.
How so?
The sheer concepts of the groups of people were over the top, but they kind of downplayed and I'll get into this in characterization.
Yeah.
But they kind of counted on actor quirks to carry the scene. And
how do you link that with the art direction overall?
I'll talk about that more in the writing, but the art direction, I mean, the composition was fine, the lighting was great.
Considering, yes.
Especially considering what they were working with. Apparently what little CGI they did in post-production was to take out the strings and to take
standard
out
stuff that doesn't even count. Yeah,
the mic stand, the boom mics and stuff like that.
Nikki, what are your thoughts on specifically the art direction? Like, we're gonna get to makeup in just a moment, which is why I want to get all this stuff out of the way, because we're gonna spend a good bit on makeup.
I love their set they had for Victor Crowley's house, and like how they set up the woods, and like that gator that popped up and bit the one guy in the leg. And like, wait, we're gonna go into props soon, but I like the tone of the lighting. I like the way the camera moves. Like sometimes they have in the beginning of the movie they have like kind of like the Evil Dead kind of like floating or kind of flying kind of like a camera dolly,
like a crane shot.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that.
For me again, like, it was dark, so you don't even see. Now I will say the construction of the Crawley house is pretty much where you're going to get art direction here. Everything else is just what Louisiana looks like. Like every picture I've ever seen of anyone in downtown Louisiana on Bourbon Street, it looks like that.
Yeah.
So it really looks like the Crawley house it looks like a shack built in the woods, because it was kind of a shack built in the woods. It was a desert, like a desert area that they filmed in, and they had to make it look like a swamp, and it looked like a swamp, and I think they did a good job on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with all that said, let's talk about these fucking this fucking makeup. Let's talk about these props. Nikki, do you want to lead the way and talk? Because I know you like things that are nasty and gory.
Yeah,
this is your time to shine, Nikki. The floor
Victor Crowley, the makeup for Victor Crowley was a cowl, and then they did latex appliances on the face. So they pulled it over the head, and then they did the makeup on the face. He would hide from all the actors to be able to scare them properly. Kane Hodder was very adamant that no one see him in makeup until their scene is ready. And that was pretty amazing. And I love the way that they use different types of tools for killing, like the sander or the circular blade.
Yep.
And the I forgot what else they used.
They used a pitchfork. They used a shovel. There was the gun that they try to use. I love that they had like a practical weapon, like a gun.
Mm-hmm.
But the only person that got shot was Victor Crowley, and it didn't work. I love that. So all the other kills had to be used with like saws, and there's like the pitchfork and and he rips people apart. Listen,
yeah.
If you like messy, gory movies, this is it. These are the kills you want to see. If you like to see practical effects and messy gore, this is it. There's a lot of physically ripping people apart. Marcus gets his arms ripped off, and there's blood splattered all over concrete angels in a cemetery. Somebody gets their head literally like pulled apart like this, like south to north, like it's nasty. Actually, that was a good cinematography. They did the cut scene when they spun around Victor Crowley with the actress, so they had to get the hand in the mouth, spin the camera around. The cut is at the back when you get to the back, and then it goes into the puppet that gets ripped.
The puppet, yeah.
And there's like blood all over the place. There's like a rod that like someone gets impaled with. It's crazy.
There's a lot of vomiting too. Like Victor Crowley like threw up blood in one person's mouth, and the other one like threw up like clear shit.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you mentioned the vomiting, because there is the scene very early in the movie where they go to see Tony Todd, where they think they're going to go see a haunted tour. He doesn't do the haunted tours anymore for reasons, and he's like, be careful on the sidewalk. And you think it's like an ominous, scary movie thing. No, it's Mardi Gras. People are throwing up on the street. So like the very next scene, they're like walking down the street and there's people throwing up there. Then later on, Victor Crowley is like throwing up on like Ben's face with its weird, clear, milky white shit. It's weird. And it's gross. But in the way that you would expect a comedic horror to be.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think it's very important that we keep in mind the tone, that this is a comedic horror and this is weird off the wall shit. And which is why I'm very interested in Sako's thoughts, because you did not immediately have the same tone impression as I did. So based on the tone that you walked in on, how did you resonate with the graphic level of the kills?
I was in it to win it, like, because the rest of the movie kind of paled in comparison to the kills.
Yeah,
in my opinion, the story is not strong.
We're going to get to that in writing, but the story is not strong. That's where we might need to. We have a. I'm going to lean on Nikki to convince me in the next category about the star. We'll talk about that in the next category. Let's get into all this makeup and all the blood and the guts and the things. So tell me your thoughts, because those kills are kind of campy. And if you think
they're super campy, love them, and I love lots of blood. I love analyzing the blood and wondering what they what their recipe is and stuff like that.
If you don't know, guys, like that is what horror people do. We watch horror movies, we watch the blood, and we're like, is that corn syrup?
Is that corn syrup?
Is that like
pig's blood?
Yeah, what did they use? Like, is that studio blood? That's not studio blood. That's too thin. That's too pink. That's too red. Like we are sitting here looking at there. And if you didn't know that there was that many different options for movie blood, oh boy. Go find your local haunt and ask them just have a conversation with the owners or the manager.
Yeah.
Interesting combo. Matter of fact, I might need to try to get a haunt management team on the show at some point.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
I can ask Red Vein. There's a really cool haunt that's here in Virginia called Red Vein. They're huge.
I have a couple people in mind. My other thing with Hallowed Hills Entertainment, we are currently working with a haunt, and the owners are pretty nice. I might be able to con them into something. We'll see.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I mean, not right now. It's October.
It's October. No way. They're super busy.
They're busy. Like that's ridiculous how busy they are. This is their time. But I might be able to. We'll figure that out.
So the latex looked like latex, but the way that they lit it, and they obviously used colored light, you know, when they shot Crowley specifically, and it really set the mood and kind of hid a lot of the flaws that were in the makeup. So I have to give them kudos for that.
That is intelligent, because lighting is tricky. And even if you're doing something as simple as this, like the same light that Sako might use to light her face is not going to light my face the same way. I think there was a point in time I think it was like a yellow green light that lit my face the best. I'm not using it now. I'm just using the light in my office. But lighting on different skin tones matters. I bring that up because if you have a dark area and you have like red or pinks in a mask, or you have like dark colors in a mask to make it look scary or whatever, or you have certain clothes on the character, or there's certain colors in the space, the lighting that you use, the color that you use may seem counterintuitive to a rookie, but those are things that a skilled lighting director will be able to get right. And I think that, like you said, they did a really good job on that, lighting that character. Now, I'm going to ask Nikki, did you feel that the mask on Victor Crowley, is he scary to you?
Yes. I would not want to see him in a dark alley, although my instinct would be try to befriend to say, because I'm weird, and like I'd be like, "You're just misunderstood." I can probably get my head ripped off. Probably. But no, I would be afraid if I had to run into that.
I felt the mask wasn't scary, but it was kind of like campy creepy. Like everything, I feel like I'm going to use the word campy a lot when I'm talking about this, because it feels like the movie's not super serious. I feel like this guy's like, all right, let's just do a thing and we're going to make it work. I got this idea for a kill and this idea for a kill. We'll figure the story out later. I feel like that was the direction. I don't say this as a negative, but I'm looking at the mask. I'm looking at Crawley's face. I'm just like, okay. Right, he's killing people. I should run now. Like,
yeah.
And that
you kind of wanted to like hang out and look at him a little closer.
Yeah, it wasn't like
the way they shot it. It was all very quick, like flashes of him.
Yes, and I think that one hides flaws in the masks. Because obviously it is, when you have to do with anything with like created deformity, obviously there's gonna be makeup, mask, prosthetics, and if you're looking too, I mean, sometimes that's just what it is. If you look too hard at it, there's gonna be flaws. So to do quick cuts is smart in both the cinematography and the editing. but it also kind of keeps him sort of mysterious in a sense, which I think is good for storytelling.
Yeah, so do we give it a star for production?
Nikki, what do you think? Let me ask you.
I think we give it a star. I mean, I feel like practical effects need to be in every movie. We need to lay off the CGI. We let us go back to doing real monster making of silicone and latex and PVC pipe and all that. I like practical effects way better than anything else.
There is something that can be said about the crafting in a prosthetic, and that takes the human element, that takes an artistic eye, that takes a skillful hand, and that is something that we are kind of losing when we start to rely on like computer effects, especially now. And we're not going to get into it here, but the whole conversation about AI usage, there's an artistry there that cannot be ignored. And I think like Nikki's making the point of like there needs to be more of that artistry, because there are a lot of people who spend a lot of time learning these skills, and this is not easy stuff. So yeah, I think that should be greatly appreciated in more film in modern day. Sako, what do you think?
I have to agree. I am all about like getting your hands dirty.
Yes.
When it comes to making art. And yeah, I kind of like transitioned to digital art, but I also worked very hard to imitate traditional means by digital execution. So like that's kind of what happened here, in that like everything was practical in reality, and then they shot it, and then in post-production they use CGI to like fine tune it.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine, because if for example, if you're in there as a filmmaker and you're like, okay, to do this and execute it, I need fishing line, right? I need a fishing line, pull this, move that. That's just the thing I need to do to do that. If you're like, I can absolutely pull that out in the editing. That's just the beauty of editing. Having a good editor that is familiar with what you're trying to do, that's key. Spend your money on your editor and your effect. Pay everybody. You know what? Screw that. Just pay everybody.
Pay everybody.
Pay everybody so that you get the people who are good at their job, so your film is actually really good. But have a good sound guy.
Have a good sound guy.
Have a great sound guy. Yeah, I already said I'm going to give a star on this one. While some of the stuff seems a little campy, I think the whole movie's campy. And since I think the whole movie's campy, I don't see any of this as an insult. It's just what they were kind of going for. We're going to talk about this here momentarily in the writing, but it's very comedic. There's a lot of almost slapstick kind of level of comedy in this, and some of that comes into the outfits and the interactions of the people. Again, that's more in the writing section, the characterization. But as it applies to the art direction, since there's so much going on with the people, the art direction just has to keep you in like mental frame. And
yeah,
I think it does that well. But since you're not here for all that extra stuff, the kills had to be impactful. And when you're seeing a person get their face ripped in half, I really gotta stop blocking my microphone when I do that. When you're seeing people get their faces ripped in half and their arms literally pulled off, and like someone's heart gets pulled out from the back, like anatomically, do you know how difficult that is?
Yeah.
The rib cage is solid back there. You gotta go through the bone and pull the heart. That's a lot, and that just gets
that's
messy.
a lot.
And there's like blood splatter everywhere. There's just like buckets of blood on trees and on statues. It's a lot of blood in a fun movie. So I'm calling it campy. This is not an insult, but this is definitely a star for production. Kudos to everyone.
Ditto.
It's if you don't like comedic horror, you can watch it for the kills. Just watch
Yeah.
it. It's fun. It's fun.
Okay, so let's move on to writing.
Okay.
So within writing, we talk about dialogue and plot and pacing, which are all very important things in a horror movie.
In all movies, like
in all movies,
there has to be something. So the gist of this movie, my very fast rundown, as Nikki had already mentioned, the opening is a father-son crocodile hunting, and they die because at the hands of Victor Crowley. Fast forward, Ben, our protagonist, is heartbroken after losing his girlfriend Christine. She broke up with him. They go to boys trip to Mardi Gras. The boys are having a good time. Ben is not. He's just gonna go on this haunted swamp tour that his friends told him about. His good buddy Marcus, who should be partying off with his other buddies, is a good friend, and it's like, I'll roll with you. This is stupid, but I'll roll with you. Good buddy. Get you a Marcus. If you are Marcus, don't go in the swamp. Run. Go hang out with the other friends. Don't hang out with Ben. Long and short, they go on this janky tour with a couple, a film crew, sort of a director, his two actresses, and then a woman who's there with her own intentions. And her intentions is to find Victor Crowley primarily, but more importantly, find her brother and father, the two who were killed in the opening of the movie. They encounter Victor. The boat gets stuck. They encounter Victor Crowley. A lot of blood happens. Movie ends. That's just the movie. Probably one of the fastest explanations. I've been working on that. That's the tour is how we get our cast of characters who all get picked off. Spoiler alert: everyone dies, and everyone dies. And it's a hell of a cast of characters. It's a hell of a cast of characters.
It's. Okay, we'll get more into the characters. That's the same thing.
Ooh, characterization is going to be a trip. Sako plot.
They trespass on Crowley's property and he loses his shit. Like the story is not profound enough. Like there's no mystery, there's no thrill, there's just enough comedy to keep us entertained.
There's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of comedic dialogue. Funny.
But no one talks like that.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Now I will say some people do. Marcus absolutely is a genuine character.
He was believable.
Yeah, because that's all the things that Marcus said. I know this sounds very stereotypical, and it kind of was. Marcus was your stereotypical black character in a early knots, late teens horror movie, and it was accurate as shit. Because I can't say that I wouldn't have said anything different than what Marcus would have said. Real talk. So I love the character of Marcus for that realism, and I just feel like there are plot holes. It was the dialogue. I feel like there are times when, okay, so there's a point where they were like, we got to go to the house. We got to go past the house. We got to go around the block. We got to go this way and left and then right. And it all happens in the same scene because no one really knows what the hell they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, the boat wasn't sinking that fast.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, do you guys want to go back home? Great. Let's get out of this boat, get it off the rock, and go back home. This movie could have been like,
different.
That should have been it. That's what, like, the actions that were done in this movie are illogical. They don't make a lot of sense. And I feel like there was enough story, because the question that you ask yourself as a writer is, okay, this is where my movie needs to take place here. How do I get my characters from the beginning to here so that we can end here? That is a very broad general question any writer is ultimately trying to answer. It's like, okay, this is going to take place in a house. Cool. Well, how do your characters get to the house? Great question. We're going to start here, or we're going to get to the house. Where we go after the house? Well, we're going to need to get here with our safety. Okay, cool. Well, how do they get the safety from the house? Great. And that's where story comes in. And I think there was just enough story to get our characters from Bourbon Street to the swamp.
Point B, yeah.
That's it. It was just enough.
But that wasn't just enough. It was 2/3 of the movie. Crowley doesn't show up until the third act.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, okay. I'd say late second into the third, but that's splitting hairs right there.
That's splitting hairs, yeah.
Nikki, you're the guest here. This is your favorite movie. What are your thoughts?
I feel like Adam Green put a lot of his own personal stuff into the movie with the character Ben, because he was going through like a breakup, and like he wrote not only this movie with like the character having a background about a breakup, but he wrote Holliston and Coffee and Donuts. They all have like he has like kind of the fool energy. If you do get tarot cards, he has like the leading with his heart character that like is over romanticizing people and things, and like that puts him in danger, and it gets him around people who have their own problems and like how they interact. I feel like a lot of it was to like make fun of his own problems, and I feel like the story kind of doesn't develop as much until the second movie, because there's more backstory about the curse that created Victor Crowley. But I think this first movie was kind of like the pilot.
Yeah,
I can see that. I could make a comparison to Terrifier. Okay, if you've seen Terrifier and then seen Terrifier 2, Terrifier doesn't really have a story. There is no. I will go as far as to say Terrifier does not have a plot. Terrifier is just a character. It's Art the Clown, and he is just Art the Clowning. That's all he. That's now. It's great, and Art the Clown is a fantastic character. But there is no. If we're going to analyze Terrifier at some point, I don't know if we will, but if we ever do, hear me now say Terrifier doesn't have a plot. Now, like Nikki was talking about with Hatchet 2, which I have not seen, I've heard a bit about though, there's more story into Hatchet 2. One of the things I learned was that Tony Todd was willing to have the small role in Hatchet, knowing that he's supposed to have a bigger role in Hatchet 2. I haven't seen Hatchet 2, so I don't know how that plays out, but Terrifier 2 has a whole ass plot. There's a whole story, there's a backstory, there's legend, there's lore, all the things that Terrifier doesn't have, Terrifier 2 does. And Art the Clown is still Art the Clowning. Take this back to Hatchet, as I think Nikki was making the point. There's no plot here. There's nothing. But we are being introduced to a brand new villain. This is 2006. So 2006, we already have Freddy. We already have Jason. We already have Michael Myers. We have Ghostface now. And we have a few other... Yeah. We have Candyman. We have all these different other characters that are in our... We got Chucky. We got all these classic horror characters. And I think with Hatchet in particular, this first movie, we are like, all right, we got a new guy on the block for you. Here's Victor Crowley. And as an introduction to Victor Crowley and giving him some kills under his belt as a new character, I think this does a job. But as far as writing is concerned, plot-wise, this movie has none. Like Terrifier has none. Hatchet has none. Dialogue, I think, is hilarious.
Yeah, me too.
There's a lot of smart assery.
There is smart assery, but there's also like putting your foot in your mouth sort of situations, and it just didn't. I don't find that particularly amusing.
And it's really hard to talk about some of this dialogue and this writing without getting into some of the character development that takes place.
Yeah.
So I'll
that said, we kind of talked about the pacing a little bit in that
it moves.
It moved. It kind of drew out the first 2/3 of the getting to the swamp.
Yeah.
You know, and then the last act, the last like half hour of the movie is when, you know, the blood sprays and you know, the shit hits the pan.
It is clunky. I'll give you this. It is clunky, but like I said, you got to get to the swamp. So there's the Mardi Gras, then there's the reputable tour that's not available to him because Tony Todd's character doesn't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to the knockoff one, which is weird because according to Sean, the tour guide, he's only done it the day prior and then today. So how does Tony Todd know about them already?
Yeah, he runs both shops.
He does. Is that
he runs both shops. He just is doing it under the table because he doesn't want to get sued again for an accident.
Mm-hmm. Now, important to the story, is any of that explained in this movie?
When they go up to like the shop where Tony Todd's at, he was like, "Watch your steps." Why? Because I don't want you to slip and sue me. He says that.
Yeah.
Right, but that's what happened to the kid on the boat. So you don't associate that with the second shop. It just sounds like, hey, there's another group of people. Again, and this level of questioning and ambiguity is where I find a plot hole. You know what I mean? If it's not clear, it's like, hey, I'm not saying I'm associated with it, but I know of another shop down the street. Wink, wink. Like, to me, that's a better dialogue to to connect those two together. Or if the signs were designed the same, or the handwriting on the signs were the same, or the inside of the shop looked the same, or even just something saying it's the same shop. Something like that could connect the two in a more clear, concise way. And I think those are the things that this movie lacks, is that kind of cohesion in those plot points. Do I believe you? Wholeheartedly. But it was unclear enough that I had to ask you.
Yeah.
See what I mean? That's unclear. And if I'm watching it on my own, not here to do a podcast and analyze it, I'm going to be like, how does he even know about the other shop if he's just doing a tour starting yesterday? Now, maybe this is a new tour guide and the other guy had been doing tours for a minute because the boat seemed like it had been there for a grip. So maybe that's it. Maybe just Sean was new. Maybe, I don't know. There's too many
he was new. His brother got him the job.
Yeah, so maybe that was it, and maybe I'm the one that's slow. I can concede to that. But again, it's a level of ambiguity that just feels too many questions. Too much space for questions.
Yeah.
Too much space for questions. I think that's where the plot holes are. It's space for questions. Even if the answers are, no, you're misreading that. I shouldn't be misreading it. And I think Sako saw something very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very much so. So I can't give it a star for the writing. I can't.
I'm okay with pacing. I'm not okay with the plot. And the dialogue is funny and campy, but doesn't fill in the gaps for the plot. Before I declare things, Nikki, why should I give this a star? Talk to me. Convince me. Work with me here. Why should I give it a star for the writing? Tell me why.
I feel like even though like the plot isn't as set up as in the second movie, I think it has a lot of heart. I feel like the characters are like not they're not one dimensional. They're very um they're very campy and they're very entertaining, and I feel like just like the setup of Victor Crowley being like this supernatural being that comes back and like is introduced with the intro in the beginning. I think it's a good movie, and I think I like the writing, but I like it even more in the second movie. So I understand if you don't see it.
It's one of those things where listening to Sako, like the pacing was fine, but it's a lot of how do we get to the swamp? How do we get to the swamp? How do we get to the swamp? And it moves, but it's moving a lot in a circle. And at some part, they're literally moving around in a circle, which I think is weird when you have a river on one side of you. You can't tell that you're moving around in a circle. I think that's weird. Like geographically, that's odd.
Come to the dark side.
The dialogue is not funny enough to star this category.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, now I say this all the time. I'm going to say it again at the end of this. Understand that when we sit here and say, oh, we're not giving it a star for this, or the movie turns out to be like a 1 or 2 star movie or whatever, understand you should still watch the movie, because these are just the opinions of 2 or 3 people on this little screen. Who the fuck are we? And we're overanalyzing, but I'll tell you this. I can definitely see why this could be someone's favorite horror movie.
Yeah.
I can see it because it is fun. It is funny. And if you want to see a bunch of random people run around the woods getting ripped apart,
this is for you.
And then go to bed afterwards and just have it like, this is it. This is a fun horror movie. You can just pop in the DVD player or start streaming on Tubi. Hey, Tubi. Hey, real quick, Tubi, if you see this show, know that like most of the movies we reviewed this season so far have been found on your platform. Bad Moon has, Therapy of a Vampire has. All these movies have been found on your platform. Can you sponsor us? I know your platform is absolutely free to everyone, but can you slide a check to Sako on the Moon? I mean, my check shouldn't say the moon. I can't get that cash at the bank, but like we'll talk about that later. Like, you should sponsor the show just because everything's on Tubi. Everything's on Tubi. Anyway, you should still go and watch the movie. Like, don't let us talk you out of watching the movie. Like, never let any of us talk you out of watching the movie. Go watch the bloody movie. Filmmakers worked really, really hard. If this was a 0-star movie, a lot of people put their blood, sweat, and tears into making it. Either way, go support movie makers. Okay, go see the movie anyway, and then talk about how much it sucks. It's fine, but go see it first.
But go see it. Yeah,
it doesn't suck. It's just the story's not there. The writing's not there. The dialogue's funny, but not enough to give it a star. Yeah. And now a lot of this is going to like run on character work. So here we are with characterization, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Sorry.
Huh?
No, I would love to hear what you would have to say about.
Oh, please.
Ben, the character Ben is loosely based on some of the emotions and things Adam Green was going through. Like, he puts himself in his characters a lot. Like, he was even one of the friends in the friend group that was throwing up during the New Orleans thing. They were calling him a wuss for wanting to go on the haunted tour.
Because he didn't like boobs. He didn't want boobs. All the boobs reminded him of his ex or whatever the excuse was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was totally based on Adam Green. I also Like a lot of the jokes that were going on with the two women who had to like each other for the camera guy was hilarious.
Okay, so let me help you out, guys. Okay, so here's the characters that we're dealing with. We are dealing with the buddies, and that's cool. And it's just basically some bros. I don't even know they had names. One of them is played by Adam Green. That is true. But we got some bros, whatever. They don't show up in this movie at all after that. So on this swamp tour, we have the guide. We have our main characters, Ben and Marcus. There is a couple, seemingly from Minnesota. This lovingly little friendly couple. Side note, I heard that they were originally written to be a racist couple, but the Adam Green didn't like it after a while, and it's just like he just cut those scenes out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam Green, for that, because we don't need any more of that bullshit. Side note, if you're gonna make like just really weird homophobic racist, xenophobic, kill them first in your movies. If you're gonna have those characters, kill them first. If we're going to have these kind of characters in our art, let's make sure that these characters, the public knows that we disapprove of such behavior. Let's kill them first. Personal note. So we have the guide, we have our two characters, we have the couple, and then we have this lovely little 3-person group here, this producer and his 2 actresses. They are filming a thing, and fun note on that one. And then we have Mary Beth, who is the sister daughter looking for her father and her brother. Side note: did you know that the quote unquote dumb blonde was played by Mercedes McNabb, who, if you're a big fan of the Addams Family, as I am, she plays the little Girl Scout chick.
I remember her.
And I think she also plays in the second one. She's at the camp. She plays like the main pilgrim girl. I was 9 years old. I was like barely 2 digits when those movies came out. And while my first love is Wednesday Addams, my second love is Christina Ricci. I had a big crush on whoever that blonde chick was at the time, but it was completely overshadowed by Christina Ricci. And I didn't realize who that was. I'm like, I know that face from somewhere. Apparently, I have a type. Anyway, but no, I didn't realize that was her. But I didn't realize that was her. So, something you said earlier, Nikki. You said that the characters were not one-dimensional. I would beg to differ.
I would beg to differ.
I would say that all of those characters, every one of those characters, is one-dimensional. Now, collectively, they make a really fun ragtag group, but you have the broken-hearted main character, the sarcastic black friend, the stereotypical couple from the Midwest who love each other so much, the stereotypical Asian character who's trying to not be, and then you have the dumb blonde, the serious actress who's really not that great, the sleazy producer, and then the quiet badass. And there's zero like evolution to any of these characters at all. Can you convince me of it? Show me where I'm wrong. Can you show me where I'm wrong? This is not to put you on the spot, but I'm just saying I see them all as one-dimensional characters. Collectively, they all play off each other really well.
That might be what I meant. Right? That might be what I meant, because I see them all working together to make a interesting plot, interesting dealing with different types of people.
They are a very interesting ragtag group that bounces off of each other, and they interact with each other in a very interesting way. That I will not deny, but they are all one-dimensional. Sako, your thoughts?
I don't know that I can I didn't like the characters. Like, they were so shallow, especially the Doug Hope or whatever his name was.
The
His
producer,
the producer,
Shapiro,
Shapiro. Yeah,
Doug Shapiro. That was
Doug
not his real.
Shapiro.
That was his producer name. Wasn't his legal name. They found his ID after he died, and they're like,
Yeah,
"That's not his name. He's a fake." Which honestly, I thought was like an extra part of that. That just really we didn't need. We
right.
didn't need him to be a fake producer, like real producer, fake producer, creepy guy on the. Doesn't matter. He was an idiot.
It doesn't matter. He was a guy with a camera
Who, again, was. Oh,
he was my least favorite character.
imagine, if you will, a guy with a camcorder and two lovely ladies, and he's just looking at them like, okay, all right, now we're happy, we're smiling, we're confused, and now boobs. Like, that was his direction, and that is not how. First of all, it's not how any of that works.
It's not how any of that works.
I can't imagine any actress being so desperate that that's the direction that you. Even the little movie that he's trying to make within this movie had no plot. Like, it was ridiculous. It was just basically like, okay, you're hugging now and you're kissing now, and like,
come on, dude.
This was an excuse to bring more boobs in the movie. Like, it was like that's all it was. And now, hey, Adam Green himself even said horror to him is boobs and gore. It's boobs and gore. He didn't say that. I'm paraphrasing his quote, but
okay.
Gratuitous nudity and gore. That's what he was looking for, and boy, did he!
He nailed it. Yeah,
he did. I say you're a success if you have a goal and you hit it, and he had a goal and he hit it. But again, when you're focusing on the gore and the boobs, there's no character development. There's no plot progression. There's so much of the actual story that doesn't exist. I think the cast played their roles really well, since we talk about casting in this section. I think the cast was well cast. I think they all played their part well. I just don't think they had good parts. I mean, the parts of the two girls that we saw a lot of, those were fine parts, but I don't think that there was nothing else to their characterization. There's no plot progression. And the fact that everyone dies at the end, there's no arc.
Technically, the badass chick moves on to the next movie, but she's played by Danielle Harris.
Yes. And honestly, I knew Danielle Harris was in this movie. Was in the Hatchet franchise, but I didn't know where she was. I didn't see her in this movie, so I was confused. That's just a me thing. Danielle Harris, if you don't know, played, was it Jamie in like Halloween 4? She played like the niece of 4 and 5. She plays the niece of Michael Myers, and my favorite Danielle Harris character, she plays Tosh in Urban Legend, a movie that doesn't get anywhere near the respect
it deserves. Yeah,
I love that movie so much, and she plays the gothic roommate who I had a huge crush on because I have a thing for goth chicks apparently. Goth chicks and oval-faced blondes with blue eyes. That's the thing. I have a type.
You have a type.
This is not the show for that.
I think the actor quirks was the only thing that made the one-dimensional character seem third-dimensional. Like,
talk about it.
The Sean, the Asian American who was the tour guide, who was new at his job, you know.
I love when he goes from his Creole accent, which was way
to a Chinese accent.
It was redonkulous. And then he's like, I'm from Detroit. Like, I'm sorry. All that together, that's funny. I like that. That's a plug. That's a check mark.
Actor quirk. So I kind of value that the director decided that they could take their personalities and let them show through the character, but it just wasn't enough to really carry the message.
It was, listen, was it good? No. Was it fun? Yes. It's funny as hell. Another problem I have with the story, I know we're not talking about writing, but this kind of goes into the characters interacting. That's what I'm talking about it now.
Mm-hmm.
With the characters interacting, there's a lot of fighting for, hey, we're being chased by a killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. If you find out that Sean wasn't who he like said he was going to be, and you think he deserved a punch in the face, okay, I can see that one. But the two actresses are fighting with each other the whole entire time, and yet they still have to work together up until the one chick dies. And it's just like, this doesn't create drama in the story. This just fills in time. Their fighting just fills in time. It didn't do anything for the story. Was it fun in isolation? Absolutely. It was. These fights are ridiculous, but there's a lot. Imagine you're like what, 7, 8 people trapped in the bayou, and there's a killer after you, and he is ripping motherfuckers apart quite literally, and you're gonna stop to have a fist fight? No, don't do that. Keep fucking running. Fight them when you're safe. One of those quick, like, when we get out of this, I'm gonna beat your ass. If you don't die, like if we both survive the night, I'm gonna hug you. Then I'm gonna beat your ass, and then I'll beat your ass. It's like, come on, let's get safe first before we stop and do something really dumb, like fight each other and have these really stupid arguments. I will say this part was funny when we, the way that we have the character of Ben have this idea to catch Victor Crowley on fire. He saw some gas cans when they were in the shed before. He's like, let's go get the gas cans, we'll douse them with fire, we'll burn them. And the plan works. And then it starts to rain again. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's a real reaction. That's a real reaction. I'd go with that. See, those are moments that are fun.
And are you fucking kidding me is repeated throughout the series from what I understand by different characters, but that's like the tagline that is repeated throughout the series.
I've told you this before several times, Sako. I may have mentioned it on the show before. If you see it once, maybe twice, it's a character fight. If you hear it a bunch of times, it's the writer. You and I were we featured on Dr. AC's show Horror 101 on an episode that airs on Halloween. More on that later, ladies and gentlemen. But one of the things I noticed in Trilogy of Terror is that when something's being explained, someone goes, you see, and then gives the explanation line. And you see isn't something that everyone always says, but these different characters in different stories are saying the same you see kind of thing as they're explaining something. And that's how you know that that's in the writing. That's what I think you're leading into with that line in particular. Are you fucking kidding me? Because some of the stuff is kind of like, wow, of all the things to happen, this shit. But there are different ways of saying, are you fucking kidding me? There's a different way of saying that, and different characters with different personalities should say them differently. And that's how you have the character's voice versus the writer's voice coming out through the characters. A personal issue that I've had as a writer, so I recognize it a lot. And that's one of the things I noticed in the writing, and that's one of the things I noticed in dialogue, and that's what I noticed when it comes to the separation of characters, which is why I'm mentioning it now. and it's just there's not a whole lot of separation. Oh, there are fun moments. There are so many fun. I'm telling you, people, like go to Tubi and watch this movie. Like it's a blast. Is it great cinema? No, but it's great fun. Period. They say some dumb funny shit, and these
They
characters
say
are
some dumb funny shit. Yeah.
the characters are one dimensional. But one of the things that Nikki pointed out is that they do work well together, having this dichotomy in one little group of people. It works for what it's doing. Now for our was the casting good? Cool. Were the characters consistent? Generally speaking. Was there evolution?
Ben evolved.
He kind of evolved.
Like, he went from being a pissant to a survivor.
He was never really a pissant. He was just a crybaby.
Well, that's what I mean. Like...
Yeah, but he was like heartbroken, and then he got some girl's attention, and now he's like, let me show off with the new chick.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it really counts as I don't know if it really counts as evolution. I mean, I won't argue. Yes, I will. I don't know if it counts as evolution because I think that he just came out of his shell. But maybe that counts as evolution. So maybe I'll concede.
Okay.
Point of view.
I think it's from Ben's point of view.
Generally speaking. Ben's, I think, in every crucial scene since his introduction. And if you want to call it an evolution of character, okay. Nikki, do you think that Ben, his character actually goes from one point to another in an evolutionary arc?
Yes. I feel like he's probably one of the most scared person to try to do new things, and he tried to step out of his comfort zone to do something that's mild. Then he ends up in a horror situation, and like he has to drop all his crybaby shit to be able to survive, and like he's like sticking to the character that's looking for her parent, her dad, and her brother. And I kind of feel like she kind of like pushes him to like be a stronger leader or strong person to be able to get through it. And I feel like he made like an honest connection with her, and I feel like that made him shift and change.
I can accept that. Am I 100% on board with? No, but I can accept that as an explanation. I can accept that. So with casting, consistency, evolution, and point of view and concern, Sako, I need to know. Are you starring this category?
I can't.
Tell me why. You just heard a really good explanation from Nikki about the evolution of this character. Tell me why you can't start this section.
The writing was so weak, they had to bring in the actors to make it believable.
But this is a category on characterization. This is a character casting and character evolution point of view. That is what this section is about.
No, I understand. I'm just saying in the movie, I think it was poorly cast. I mean, the actors did their jobs. Small blessings. But I don't think it was strong enough to carry the movie.
Nikki, what do you think?
I'm kind of biased. I like the characters and stuff like that, so I probably would give it a star, but I see Sako and your points. Like I said, this was really introductory to the character, Victor Crowley, and also I forget the name of the character that Danielle Harris plays that is a different person in the first movie. Like, it really doesn't take off until like the second movie, to be honest. Like, the first movie is good and it shows you good gore and everything like that. And then the characters are funny, but I agree.
Let me ask Sako this question.
Uh-oh.
I'm curious now.
Okay.
The way Nikki plays this is that this movie is really just an introduction, primarily, of Victor Crawley with the anticipation of a franchise.
Okay,
we know that there
I'll
is a
give you
2
that.
and a 3, and then there's a 4th movie called Victor Crawley.
Mhm.
If you've changed your frame of reference to these are characters,
Throwaway characters
for the sake of introducing Victor Crawley, does that change your mind in this category at all?
I think I am of a mind that each movie should be able to stand on its own and not mention the other movies too much.
Well, consider that at the time that Hatchet comes out, there is no Hatchet 2. So if you watch this movie in isolation, there is no 2 to compare it to.
Right.
So, but if you take it into consideration that this movie is an introduction to Victor Crawley, and that having one-dimensional characters means that they're just blank fodder for this new horror figure, does that change your mind at all?
No, it really doesn't.
I don't mind the characters as much. They are one-dimensional, but they're funny. And if you look at this, again, I said this in tone, and I mentioned this on purpose for this purpose. You have to take, in my opinion, you have to look at this movie as it's intended. If it's intended to be a comedic horror movie, then I need funny characters. I need horror elements. I get a lot of that out of the production with the makeup and the gore and the practical effects. And then if I'm going to have a comedic horror movie, I need comedic characters. And these characters did the comedic thing just fine. You had some neutral characters like the couple, and then you had the guide who was funny, the best friend that's funny, Ben who was kind of playing off the comedy of Marcus, and then you had the dumb blonde and the sleazy guy and the other actress, and these were comedic characters. Now, I want to point something out real quick. In all this conversation about characterization, the one character that none of the three of us had spent a moment talking about was Victor Crawley.
Well, he didn't really have a personality other than roar, fire, badge, smash.
But my point here is, this is a movie starring Victor Crawley, introducing Victor Crawley, and none of the three, and I held back until this moment. None of the three of us, not even Nikki, not even none of the three of us talked about the character of Victor Crawley. And if imagine doing a critical analysis of a Freddy movie and not talking about Freddy, or a Halloween movie and not talking about Michael Myers.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
So the fact that we went through this whole thing and we weren't even we talked about how good of a job Kane Hodder did, the actor. We talked about that. We all did. But we did not talk about, particularly in this characterization section, the character of Victor Crawley. We did not analyze him as his height, his strength, his power, his origin story. We didn't talk about any of that. And
no, we did not.
And if all of our focuses was on the ragtag cast, I honestly have no problem with the cast. I have no problem with their one-dimensional. And I would have otherwise given a star on this, which would have given us like a half star. But the fact that we can't even take the time to talk about the actual focus of the movie shows that there wasn't enough development in this movie, even for the character they're focusing on. So I led you in that direction of the throwaway characters, because even when we're talking about throwaway characters to be fed to Victor Crowley, we still didn't talk about Victor Crowley.
Yeah. And Victor Crowley is a good monster, a good character. I feel like the way that they set up how like people were teasing him and like how they like set his house on fire and the dad had to hatchet its way through the door.
Yeah. Great backstory.
It's a great backstory. And he's always searching the swamps for his dad, and anyone comes near him, he kills them. That they mentioned about like how many people are missing from going into the swamp, and they try to say it's because of the crocodiles, but I just like the way Victor Crowley handles his kills, and like
I agree. Everything you just said is completely true. Victor Crowley's backstory is great. It's very simplistic, which I think a good backstory should, because it's easy to tell, it's easy to convey in future movies, and it's easy for people to understand. The backstory is great. He was deformed. His dad kept him isolated in the swamps. Kids heard about him. They came and teased him with firecrackers. The firecrackers caught the house on fire. He was trapped. Didn't make a lot of sense. We're going to go with it. The dad tried to save him by breaking down the door. Didn't realize his son was on the other side. Killed his son with a hatchet. Damn. Great backstory. It was fantastic. Dad died like 10 years later out of sadness. Broken heart. Great backstory. And all of this conversation that we've had, I purposely kept all of that back to see if it would come up naturally, and it didn't. And the fact that, despite the fact that I think he is, and I'm going to watch the other Hatchet movies just to see how he develops over time.
Yeah,
but
me too.
At the same, and again, it's good enough to make me want to keep watching the franchise to see how it grew. But
he was such a wee babe.
I don't think this did the job in the job it was supposed to do in the way it was intended to do it. So for that reason solely, I cannot give it a star in this category. I wanted to. I was actually, I'll be honest, I was actually going to say no star at the beginning, and then Nikki actually convinced me.
Oh.
She actually had a great argument for him. And then I realized that in all this conversation of characters, none of us are talking about Victor Crowley.
Yeah.
I noticed it earlier. We're talking about Marcus, we're talking about Ben, we're talking about Mary Beth. That's the girl who was
he just seemed like
he was fodder. He was just kind of there to facilitate the kills. Great kills. Great kills. But it's like you need a bad guy to facilitate the kills. He was our bad guy to facilitate the kills. And like I mentioned with Terrifier, Art the Clown is just there to be a menace in Terrifier. There is no plot. There is no story. The characters there are one-dimensional. But Art has character. Art has character. Art has quirks. Art has a whole thing. And I'm not trying to compare Victor Crowley to Art the Clown, but in a movie where the characters are also one-dimensional and the plot is also non-existent, there's at least something that you know that like carries the movie, and it's the full development of your main villain. In this movie, our main villain doesn't have that same presence. Does that make sense? I can't. I want to. I wanted to. I can't though. I can't.
I cannot.
So that makes this a 2-star movie. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, just because we rate this a 2-star movie does not mean you shouldn't go watch it. You should actually watch it like today.
You should actually watch it. Yeah.
You should watch Hatchet and go ahead and watch Hatchet 2, probably watch Hatchet 3, and watch Victor Crowley. I'm going to watch all 4 of those movies. I'll rewatch Hatchet. My whole point here is that we are just people with opinions. We are writers and we're critical. We are filmmakers and we're critical. We create stories and we create characters and we're critical. where we are fine tooth combing this movie. We are looking for things to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
You are at home. You're probably trying to write characters too and have impactful characters. This is probably not the way to do it off of this movie. No shot at Alex of Mr. Green.
First season we have an episode on how to create like really profound characters.
They have to have depth. These characters do not have depth, but not all horror has to be like super elevated horror, or a term I coined in the other episode, educated horror. We don't have everything doesn't have to be elevated and evolved and highfalutin and what. Sometimes horror is just you pop the DVD in, you hang out for an hour or so, and you have a damn good time. And this is definitely a sit down, pop it in, grab your friends, get some popcorn, and have a damn good time. This movie is fucking fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can absolutely understand why this is Nikki's favorite movie. Like, if this is one of your favorite movies, I get it. Like, this is campy as shit. Let's talk about Scream, one of my favorite movies. Campy as fuck. Love it. Ghostface falls. Horror villains don't fall. Ghostface falls. I love Scream, and I will defend Scream to the day I die. Just like I fully expect Nikki to defend Hatchet, and as she should. This is a fun movie, and I appreciate you convincing me to watch this movie and bringing this movie to Suck on the Moon.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So before we go, do you have anything you want to promote? I know you had some events coming up.
I have our Three of Cups collective event, Bumping the Night benefit at Mel J's North here in Richmond, Virginia. It's formerly known as Another Round Bar and Grill. We have a band called Astra Honey. Then we have 3 rap groups. We have Black Lyric featuring his sister, Miss D. And then we have Neighborhood Mink. And we have Trap Cry. It's going to be a great night. It's $10 admission. Costumes are encouraged. We're going to have a photo booth and possibly a raffle. It's going to be a good time.
That actually sounds pretty dope. I'm kind of upset that I'm so far away I can't go. It actually sounds like a really damn good time. So if you're anywhere near the Richmond, Virginia area, then you should definitely check all that out. I'm sure Sako will put some information in the description below.
I will.
Or you can find Nikki Knight anywhere, her socials, and you can find all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. All right. This is us wrapping up. If you made it this far, we love you.
God
your
bless
family. Your family. But you know, maybe you should like the video in
right here somewhere. Sure.
Yeah, down there.
Let's do that thing.
And
do all the things. There's like 3 things you can do.
There's like 3 things. And we will see you on Friday.
Mm-hmm. So long.
So long.